Continuing with the summary of The One Thing by Gary Keller, we arrive at a chapter that is it's very important because he talks about the lies, the myths, or as he puts it, the six lies between you and success. Because as he puts it, success leaves clues. And more important than the clues about what to do, because we know that it's the one thing. It's important to be aware of the things not to do because those can put us on a track of failure, of frustration, of spinning our wheels, not getting anywhere. So, what are the six lies? Basically, everything matters equally, one lie. Two, multitasking. Three, disciplined life. Four, willpower is always on will call. Five, a balanced life. And six, big is bad. What do they mean? Let's start with one, of course. Everything matters equally. That is obviously a lie, but we know that rationally, but that's not how we usually live our day-to-day lives. We usually do the things that are presented to us in the sequence that they come to us. So we wake up, we do the things that we do in the morning, then we check the cell phone, we check emails, we get to work, and then if someone talks to us about a chore, a task, a job that needs to be done, we do that. The phone calls, we answer. Then the person says something about something they need done, and we do that. But things don't matter equally, and we have this myth that not only that they do, we act like they do, and that when we are done with those small things, we'll get to the important thing later. But there's always more to do. There's always people that want our attention. Nowadays, there's always a new notification on our cell phones, on our email, personal or from a work email. So you have to be aware of what really matters and focus on that, because otherwise the world is gonna flood you with things to do, and you'll never get to what you really need to do. And that ties in with the Pareto principle, which is very well known, or the 80-20 principle, which means that 80% of your outcomes comes from 20% of your inputs. So you have to know which are those 20% and try to ignore as best as you can the other 80% that don't matter that much. That's lie number one. So lie number two is multitasking. And this is the reason why it's illegal in many places to drive and text. Our brains cannot multitask. Multitasking is a lie. What multitasking is you making one thing badly for a short amount of time, and then doing another thing badly for a short amount of time. That's how our brains work. Do not multitask ever. When you're going to do something important, put away your phone, put away distractions. Just do that one thing. Otherwise, your brain's going to get scattered. Your performance will suffer. You will take longer to do it because every time you interrupt one thing you're doing, you need more time to get back to it. So when you're multitasking, you're just interrupting several tasks at once, and you take more time to get into the flow of each one. So multitasking is definitely a lie. Number three, a disciplined life. This is where I think he's trying to be smart, but I get his point. He's saying that you don't need to be disciplined. You just need to do your one thing. There's no such thing as a disciplined life because you cannot be disciplined about everything all the time. And it is true, but I think we all should work on being more disciplined, developing habits. But he's right in the fact that if you have one important thing to do, you don't need that much discipline to work on that for 1-2 hours a day. Just block your time for 1 hour, do that one thing without distractions, and you don't need that much discipline in the rest of your day. Unless you're trying to eat healthy and exercise and do other good things. So that's why I disagree a little bit, but you get the point. You don't need to wait until you have a perfectly disciplined life to do what's important. You only need whatever time you have, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. You only need that to go towards success. Number four, willpower is always on will call. That one, the research is it's not so robust now. There's some doubt about this research, but still is something that we feel every day. We cannot rely on willpower. We just cannot. I was talking about habits. We should rely more on habits or stuff that is automatic than on willpower, because our mental power has it shifts, has tops and bottoms during the day. And during those bottoms, we make bad choices. We cannot make ourselves do what we have to do, what is hard, what is demanding, because we're tired. Our bodies and our minds need a break. So you have to be aware of that. So be aware that you cannot rely on willpower. So you must rely on habits, a good one, develop habits so that let's say you are a writer. Writing is the most important one thing that you have to do every day. Get into the habit of writing every day at a certain time of the day so that you don't even think about it. You have to rely on that automatic action and not on willpower. Otherwise, you will fail. And other thing you can do is schedule things ahead, organize your days ahead, set alarms, set checklists, stuff that makes it the more automatic possible for you to do the things that you have to do, especially your one thing, but also the things of life. Exercising, going shopping for groceries, maintaining your place, stuff like that. So yeah, willpower is not on will call. You should be aware of that and plan accordingly. Number 5 is a balanced life. That is a lie, because what is a balanced life, really? I don't think anybody has that answer. But what he says makes sense in the sense that, of course, we shouldn't become all workaholics and say screw it to the rest of our lives. But we should be aware that for some time we may neglect a little bit other parts of our life, our family, our friends, our social life, even our health, if it's for a short period of time, because neglecting your health is not a good idea for productivity or success. But sometimes it is necessary for a short period of time in order for you to achieve good things at your work or your mission. But you have to be aware that when you're getting too out of balance in one place of your life, you have to go back and you have to dedicate yourself to other things, your family, your friends, your health, your social life. But you have to be aware as well, if you're getting too lenient with yourself, if you're getting too lazy, you have to go back. And it's not a balanced life. It's more like a dance. You go as much as you can in one direction, and when you notice that the other part of your life starting to suffer, you go back, and vice versa. So again, don't let this myth of a balanced life stop you. Just be aware of this dance between personal and work life or your mission. And of course, prioritize. Your mission is important, but if you have kids, they are more important than your mission. I'm sorry, if you have kids, they are more important than you. That's the deal with having kids. If you have a wife, you have to dedicate some time to that relationship, and at least you have to talk to your wife or your husband and say, hey, I'm doing this thing right now, so if I get you out of whack, please tell me and I will come back. Communication is essential, but don't let this myth of a perfectly balanced life stop you from doing your one thing. And the last lie is big is bad. What he means by that, and it's kind of counterintuitive, because if you saw the last video, he was just saying that going small is the way to go. But that's when we are talking about your one thing for the day or for the week. You go small because you're focusing on one thing to do. But your goals should be as big as possible. Because if you aim for something small, first of all, you don't even get the motivation needed to do your one thing, because your one thing will always be hard. It's always hard to put yourself to work on things that matter. It's always demanding. So if it is demanding, you need motivation. And for motivation, you should set a goal as big as possible. And so your one thing that you do is as efficient as possible. It's the old story. You can shoot for the stars. If you miss, at least you can get to the moon. That's the idea. Because if you have a big goal and you have a big one thing to do, then even if you fail, you're going to fail into something good. Maybe not, it may not be your ultimate big goal, but it will be something good. And maybe something that you didn't even know that was that good or even enough. Those are the 6 myths. I hope that was useful, and I'll see you again in the next video.